Well, welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with Pam Rossi. That's me, downtown live at MusicTown. And we have this great recording session or studio, and we bring local artists in, and it's all about the music. Want to say thank you to our sponsoring partners. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. Thank you to Michigan State University Community Music School Detroit and Children's Hospital of Michigan Foundation. Thank you to both of them to help all this MusicTown be real. So thank you. Today, I have another local artist in the studio, Mr. Mark Jewett. Hi, Mark.
Hello, Pam.
He's waving to the camera. Thank you for coming in and being a guest for me.
Thank you for having me.
Sure, absolutely. Known you for a while, and we're going to talk about your story, which I think is one of the reasons I wanted to bring you in here, because this whole MusicTown thing is really, it's an educational thing as well as supportive of local artists and, even big artists that come through. We like to have them here, but a big part of this is with education, the music education, and keeping that going and everything. And your story fits right in with all of that. And you got this look like, really? So we're going to talk about that and share that great story with everyone. So, but welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here today. And I'm holding up. This is, first of all, you have a new album out. You've had an EP before.
It's relatively new. It just had a birthday.
Yeah, okay. Your latest, let me
let's
say it that way. Your latest album, Tending the Fire.
Yes.
And there's some great stuff on here. I've listened to this, and some funny tunes and some great stuff, and I'm sure you're going to be playing some of these maybe.
Indeed.
I should jump the gun here. Maybe you're not. I don't know. But you have an EP out as well.
Yes, an earlier one.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's kind of jump back here because, as I mentioned, you have a great story. And I think it's so inspirational for people out there that think, I love playing guitar, or I love singing, or I love piano, whatever it may be. I love music. But I'm way past this prime of, getting into the music business. And then here comes Mark Jewett. It was back in, I think, 2011, correct me if I'm wrong, 2011, some friends heard you, some of your music or your songwriting, and said, wait a minute, you should be doing this. So why don't you give us the story of how this all came about just a few years ago?
Well, I have enough brain cells left to remember how it started, and it did start actually around '07, and I kind of delved into it more seriously in '08 when I attended my first songwriters retreat.
Okay.
Having never finished a song prior to that. And you mentioned two things which are critically important to anyone that's trying to navigate this path, and that's education and support. And I had both. My educators were very supportive, which is the perfect situation. And they were, if they weren't friends when it started, they are now. So I had unintentionally put music aside for about 25 years, and then after a very informal Labor Day weekend jam session, I realized how much fun this was, and that I should get back into it.
Yeah.
And I started following a really good local band named Grievous Angel.
Mm-hmm. Billy Brandt.
And Nolan Mendenhall was my link to that band, and I knew Nolan from the late 70s, and he introduced me to Billy. And both of them were playing with Jill Jack at the time, so they both introduced me to Jill, and everything just snowballed from there. Billy and Jill were on staff at that first songwriting retreat that I attended, and were both very encouraging and supportive. I can say Jill was forcefully supportive.
Well, sometimes you need somebody like that.
Yes,
to
and
force you.
I am forever indebted, and we're good friends. And although we don't stay in touch as much as I would like to,
what did she say to you that?
Well,
do you remember?
She she basically helped me invalidate all my excuses and told me I really need to do this. Just
You had a
just
whole list
do
of
it.
excuses?
Yeah,
Like?
and actually, the portal that I passed through was playing a song alone at an open mic that night.
Okay.
And although I'd been in bands for years before, I played bass and I sang harmonies. I'd never
Up front.
never up front, never alone, and it's a totally different experience.
That was a big step.
Yeah, it was a huge step, and
Sometimes we need a little prodding.
yeah, exactly. I don't know if I would have gone through with it on my own, but it happened. So I started writing songs, and I had 4 that I thought were usable, and I thought, well, let's learn the next part of the process. Let's learn how you make a record, do some recording. And
Did you have help with any of that?
absolutely.
Okay.
Again, Nolan Mendenhall,
Great guy,
who's won producing awards and instrumentalist awards for decades here in Detroit. He was my producer, and he worked with me from pre-production all the way to mastering, and it was a learning experience. I learned where my shortcomings were, where I needed to work, and I worked on those, and hopefully, this CD, more recent one, has closed the gap on some of those shortcomings. I feel like there's been some improvement, but there's certainly room for more improvement.
Oh, always.
So,
I mean, even people that have been doing this for years and years, they always think there's room for improvement. If you stop and think, okay, I've learned it all and there's nothing else, then I think
think
you're
that's
done.
the end.
You're done,
Yep,
yeah.
that's the end. If you think you've done it all, there's always more.
Well, it helps that you had someone like Nolan to guide you along the way. So thank goodness for that. I'm just wondering, if people don't have a connection like that, it's like, where would they go?
That's a very good question, and I think that's where organizations like MusicTown and others can really help connect you with a community through referrals. I'm taking a short business music class through Detroit Institute of Music Education, also known as DIME right now. It's just a short course, but that's another organization that's helping educate and connect people with the business.
You have to always keep learning.
Yeah, and I, in the process of taking this course, I've come to a realization there is a lot more to learn than I imagined, than I realized at least.
Maybe is that a little scary, the fact that you don't know as much as you think you should?
It is, and it has a lot to do with your vision and your goal setting and where you want to be. If you want to grow beyond a regional entity, you're really going to need help.
Is that your goal?
It's under consideration right now.
Okay.
I'm evaluating, whether I want to make that leap, because it takes a lot of
So you need
commitment
another
and
Jill to
energy.
prod you here, is what you're thinking?
That, and I might need some vitamin B12 shots and some extra coffee too. I don't know.
But it's a passion, as I found with many musicians. It's a passion that you just can't give it up, or you want to learn more. At least that's my experience that I've seen through all these local musicians. You have to really love what you're doing and take the bumps and the bruises along the road.
You do, and it helps if you can set some goals that you can achieve, because you feel like you've achieved a goal then. So I set the bar a little lower. Like, one of my dreams is to break even.
Mark, you need to dream bigger.
See, well, okay.
But, baby steps. I understand that. Baby steps. First thing, obviously getting into an open mic. We do a great open mic here every Wednesday night. So, there's a chance for people. You have to play in front of people to get that first step, I think.
You really do. And you have to play in front of people to bring out your best performance. It's
nothing
no
like
matter
a live
how,
audience.
Right. No matter how hard you try in your den or your office or wherever you practice, it's not the same.
No.
And
even if you're looking in a mirror, it's just not the same.
No, it never will be. So
yeah, live audience. So open mics. Again, we do one here Wednesdays. So good chance if you're out there thinking, yeah, I really should try this or really, really want to do this, get in front of an open mic and start out there. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, tell you what, we got a lot more to talk about, but why don't we hear a song?
Okay, sure.
Yeah. I get some water.
Yes.
So you're going to play something off this latest one, Tending the Fire?
Yes.
Okay.
Something from the new CD, but arranged a little differently.
Oh, okay. I love new arrangements.
One of the things I've done in the past year is really work on like finger style
Oh, okay.
playing.
I love
I
finger
learned
styling.
wrong, and it took years to
Oh,
unlearn what
no.
I learned.
Did you
but-
self-teach yourself or something to start out, or no?
I thought I did.
Or YouTube? Did
I
you
thought
go
I
to-
was teaching myself. I was,
Well, how did you know you were doing it wrong?
it wasn't working, was the first clue.
That was a good clue.
And
Yeah.
the second clue was a very fine instructor, whom you know, Jason Denny.
Oh, Jason. Oh, my God. One of my favorite finger stylists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's an amazing performer, and I had a few lessons with him where
Well, that's
we'd
a
sit
good teacher.
for several hours, and then it would take me literally 3 or 4 months to digest what he showed me, and then we'd come back and do it again. So
Well, that's a good teacher. Well, yeah. Oh, that would be hard to unlearn what you already learned and start over. And
I can vouch that it's harder than just learning from scratch.
Okay.
Unlearning is hard to do.
well, I give you credit for trying it, without getting a teacher and to jumping in for that, but unlearning,
Well.
yikes! All right.
Anyway, the name of the song is "Far Away from This Town," and it was born in my hometown of Plymouth, where that's received some notoriety in the news lately for the railroad crossings.
Oh yes, the 9-hour.
There are 7 of them in Plymouth.
That's the problem with Plymouth. You try to go one way, and the track is so long it cuts through yeah. I'm sorry.
And,
Yeah,
and I was
there's a
stuck at
problem.
one of those crossings one day, and the first couple lines came to me, and the rest of it just kind of wandered off literally into the universe.
While you were
So,
sitting there waiting for the train.
all the other verses took a few weeks,
Okay,
but
all right.
it's called "Far Away from This Town." There's a railroad that runs right through the middle of my town. And when the train is coming, the whistle blows and the gates come down. And as it passes through, I close my eyes and listen to the rhythm of the rails when the gates come down. You couldn't stop it if you wanted to. Trains keep rolling, that's what trains do. And I don't know exactly where it goes. Far from my town, I suppose. Far away from this town. From this town. When the stars come out at night and cast their starry light on my town, I look up at the sky and watch for stars falling down. And when I see one cross the sky, I don't need a reason why. I just watch and make a wish when it shoots across the sky. You couldn't stop it if you wanted to. Stars will fall, that's what stars do. And I don't know exactly where they go, but it's far away from here, I know. Far away from this town. From this town. And on a cold winter when everything is white in my town. And all the streets are quiet, and there's no one else around. As the snow floats down, I listen for the sound that it makes when it settles on the ground. You couldn't stop it if you wanted to. Snow will fall, that's what snowflakes do. And I don't know exactly where it goes when it melts into the earth below. Maybe to the streams that flow far from this town. There's a railroad that runs right through the middle of my town. And when the train is coming, the whistle blows and the gates come down.
Nice. That is Far Away from This Town from his Tending the Fire latest album. Good stuff. Yeah, trouble in Plymouth with all those trains. So, obviously that was an experience. You're sitting there, stuck and everything. Is that how most of your songs are written, through experiences?
They all come in different ways, really. That one was a little strange because the subject matter wanders a lot, and it took me a while to figure out what the theme was. And I figured out, at least for me, it was the contrast between very large, unstoppable forces and insignificance. We're small compared to a locomotive.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's some things I think you just have to accept because they're large and they're unstoppable. But
have you ever written a song that just out of the blue something popped in with no experience or no reason or rhyme or reason, and all of a sudden there's a song in your head? Has that ever happened? I mean, some songwriters, have.
I'm thinking.
Something comes to mind, or they see something that reminds them of something, and that's usually how a good song comes through. But I'm just curious if that's a normal thing or not.
No, I've had some that took an unexpected turn and wound up being about something other than what I intended. But I think that's a little different. But
Is that just through writing? All of a sudden, you're writing something different, and
it's actually a kind of self-discovery, and some very good writers told me that you need to be willing to, kill off your pet ideas, sometimes, because
Really?
sometimes an idea is nothing more than a vehicle to take you to the real idea.
oh, interesting.
And then it's expendable. You gotta just let it go.
Let it go. Well, yeah. Especially in the creative field, you have to just let the juices flow however they flow, and not worry about it. And of course, you can always go back and change things, but once you start the floodgates open, just make sure you get it all down, either recording or on paper of some sort, and go back and fine tune it after. I would think.
I definitely go back and change things. I'm kind of a relentless editor, and that's why it takes so long to finish what I do.
Are you a perfectionist when it comes to your writing?
I don't know if I'm a perfectionist. I just want to make sure I'm saying what I intended to say. And then there's the craft part of it where you can say what you want to say. It just doesn't flow very well as a song. Mm-hmm. And I'm a member of some groups that meet to critique songs occasionally.
That's helpful.
Haven't attended as often as I'd like to, but I'm trying to get back into the habit.
It's one thing when you hear your peers give you input on your word or your song, whatever it may, the music or the melody. I think that would carry a lot of weight.
It does, and sometimes it's very eye-opening. it's very easy to get entrenched in your idea. And of course, you understand your own idea, but it doesn't always come across. So.
We were discussing, and I'm not sure who it was, we were just discussing how he hasn't liked explaining the song and what it's about. He wants people to hear it and make their own impression. And, everybody has a different idea of what that song is about. And I would think when you're getting this critiquing, you've got in your head, this is what this is about, but someone else hearing it sees something or hears something maybe that you didn't think about, and I guess that's good or bad. It could be either way.
Yeah, I've written songs that were totally, I won't say misinterpreted, they were interpreted differently. One was kind of not a protest song, but it was about political strife.
Okay.
And I played it for someone, and they thought it was about a broken home. Which,
well,
when I stopped and listened to it, I thought, oh, yeah, I can see how
you can say, the home is the USA, and, it's broken.
Yeah.
Maybe that. You never know. Well, that's cool. Did you ever, write something, and I know, most musicians have a ton of songs that, just never get finished. I mean,
I definitely have more unfinished than finished.
I mean, I'm just curious, is it just, it doesn't seem right, or do you ever go back after something's been sitting for a long time and say, okay, I need to finish this, or something else pops in your head and go, oh yeah, now this makes sense?
I'm doing that right now. I have 2 or 3 that are back on the desk because I put them aside a long time ago. But with me, my biggest challenge is finding enough consecutive undisturbed time to clear my head of all the things that I don't need in it. and then work on the creative part.
Yeah.
And sometimes your train of thought will escape you when you come back to it, or you start out with something you think, this is really a good idea. There's a lot to write about here, but after you've written a verse and a chorus, you go, oh, maybe there's not a lot to write about here. So you put it aside, but I have over 30 unfinished songs right now that could go back to.
Okay. That seems like a lot. I mean, and especially you haven't been doing this for that long. That seems like a lot of songs.
It seems like a lot, but I'm encouraged. Of course, when I found the on ramp to this business, it was a little later in life. But there's a legendary songwriter in Western Michigan, Jay Steelstra. He has written a lot of good songs.
Yes, yeah.
And he was on staff at a songwriter retreat that I attended once, and he said, I'm not really a prolific writer. I only write about 3 songs a year, but after 50 years, that kind of adds up.
Yeah.
So he's been writing for over 50 years, and
that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a lot of songs. That's a lot of songs.
That's a lot of songs.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to pick up the pace a little bit.
And as you kind of touched on, you started this later in life. What were you, an engineer or something, full-time engineer?
I'm an electrical engineer
Okay.
by trade, but I've done some consulting and technical sales and project management, and right now I'm a data analyst mostly.
Do you consider yourself a full-time musician?
No.
Would you like to have that?
I would love to be.
Okay.
Yeah. I have room for that in my life if I can clear the daytime hours.
Yeah, that's always a challenge, I think, for musicians. Because it's a hard business to support yourself. You have to go out and perform and do your music and the business of the business. I like to say,
Right.
and it takes a lot. But yeah, that's a good goal to go for, I would.
There is no soft side of that fence to land on, really. If you're a full-time musician, it's a struggle getting started.
Yeah.
And earning enough income to sustain yourself. So as a result, a lot of full-time musicians have part-time jobs as
Not
needed.
unusual.
And on the other side of the fence, if you approach music as a part-time thing, it's really hard to make the kind of progress. It's hard to realize your potential when you're not putting your entire being into it.
Yeah, makes sense. How about we hear another song?
Okay, well, we have a few to choose from.
Okay.
Are we in the mood for anything creepy and haunting?
Well, it is Halloween tomorrow.
It is. It is. We used to call it Devil's Night.
All Hallows.
Angel's
oh,
Night
tonight
now.
is yes, that's right. Tonight is Devil's Night, as we like to say here in Detroit, Angel's Night. So, yeah, forgot about that. So you got a haunting one for us?
I do.
Is this off the same CD?
It is off the same CD, and
It's been so long since I listened to this that I should have gone back and acclimated myself with all the songs. So I apologize. I don't know which one you're going to sing for me.
it's called Shovel Full of Justice.
Okay.
And it features some very cool pedal steel and dobro work
we
by
don't have
Mr.
that.
Drew Howard
Drew Howard, yeah.
and the lovely and talented Rochelle Clark on vocals.
Yeah. Okay.
But here it is.
All right.
The world has suffered long enough for all the deeds you've done. The schemes you dream would only come to such an evil one. You lie and cheat and steal, turn your back on those in need, and everything you do is meant to serve your endless greed. Prey upon the innocent and feed upon the weak, and then with shameless arrogance you trample on the meek. No end to your ambition to win at any cost, no line of decency you'd hesitate to cross. Every shovel full of justice I hurl into your grave represents another life I likely will have saved. Every shovel full of justice I cast into this hole will help to seal away your evil soul. I vow to do what must be done to end your reign of terror. You calculated every move, but you made one fatal error. I drag you to your final stage, a perfect moon shines bright, and deal you your final hand this unforgiving night. Every shovel full of justice I hurl into your grave represents another life I likely will have saved. Every shovel full of justice I cast into this hole will help to seal away your evil soul. Every shovel full of justice I hurl into your grave represents another life I likely will have saved. Every shovel full of justice I cast into this hole will help to seal away your evil soul.
Mark Jewett. Nice.
Thank
Did you ever have? You said this was 25 years ago. Did you ever have official lessons of guitar or singing or anything?
Just a few. I tried to teach myself, and I did. I have taken some vocal coaching at two different times in my life.
Okay.
I'm trying to get into another phase of vocal training right now. So,
Well, it sounds like you kind of sounds like you have the goals, even though of what you're trying to do, and to better your craft. So
it's a matter of time, fitting the goals into the time right now. So, tackling what I can.
Well, and you also have a great social media presence, which I think helps in your business, your music. Whenever you post something, I mean, you're all over the place. It seems like, I mean, you really, I don't want to say push, but you really make sure people know where you're going to be or whatever. And I think that's important for musicians to do that. And you kind of have a handle on that one, which is good.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that you noticed that, because yes, as my friend John Latini always says, it shows it would be very awkward if no one were here.
That would be. That's never happened, has it?
To paraphrase John, no.
Yeah.
Well, I think every musician's had some gigs where they were playing to, maybe two people in a room full of chairs, things that just don't get publicized very well, or if you're playing in a new geography where you haven't played before. You really have to have a co-billing strategy, an anchor to put some people in the seats. And
That would be awful.
Well,
Can't imagine.
We call it paid rehearsal. You can try a lot of things when the audience is small, or if their attention is directed to the TVs that are watching the World Series.
Yeah, when you're in a bar and that, something like that. Yeah, they don't really have the pinball machines like they used to. A lot of that, the ding-dinging going on, but now you're dealing with espresso machines.
Yes,
yes. In the background, which can make a lot of noise when you're trying to sing.
Blenders and espresso machines.
Yes. What kind of place do you like to perform?
Well, I love ticketed shows with listening audiences that came there to hear the music. Yeah. Those are actually the pinnacle. And I've had a few of those in the Detroit area, Trinity House and the Black Crystal Cafe.
It seems like whenever there's some good ones, they close down, but then two more open up. So there's always places.
I sense that in the last 2 years, the trend is good.
Yeah.
And in Southeast Michigan, there seem to be more opportunities to play.
Well, there's so much good music here and so many talented people that, they could stay here and work forever, if they don't want to go national, whatever. But, there's plenty of places to get their music out here.
I enjoy playing any place where you feel like you've connected with somebody.
Yeah.
Playing a dinner crowd is tough. Because people came to eat and talk. But once in a while, if in a room full of 15 or 20 tables, if you engage with two or three of the tables, you feel like you made a connection.
Okay, yeah, and so there you have the clinking and clanking of silverware and glassware and and all of that.
Yeah, and occasionally people that are overserved.
Overserved. Oh yes, that would be an issue, I would imagine. Well, I want to talk about, you've got you're so new at this. I can say new. It hasn't been that long.
Absolutely.
Considering, and you're doing quite well. You were the winner of the American Songwriter Magazine 2015. That's pretty good. There's an
update.
There's an update. Woohoo!
I didn't win. I was recognized
Okay.
in the contest with an honorable mention. For Cheap Mascara in 2015,
Okay.
and very recently for Far Away from This Town in 2017.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, just the recognition, that's got to feel great.
It does. American Songwriter Magazine is a really good publication for songwriters. There's a lot of biographical articles and instructional articles and things that are happening in the industry. and their prizes are great, which was
Oh, that's
great
nice.
motivation. You can win a co-write session with a major writer. The first one I entered, Elizabeth Cook, was the artist, and I thought, I would really love to write with Elizabeth Cook, plus a day of studio time and a guitar and some other equipment. And,
Wow.
well,
And is this a national?
yes,
thing? Yeah.
yes.
Well, that is very impressive that you get these mentions in a national magazine, and you've been doing this that long. So that's very impressive.
The batting average is deceptively high because I'm a harsh editor. I don't call something finished until I'm quite satisfied with it. Hence the 30 unfinished songs.
Got to get you working on those, Mark.
I don't think any of those are going to win
Well,
any.
and this came out in 2015. You said it.
That was
No.
about a year ago,
About a year-
October
yeah, okay.
2016.
So you have enough for 2 more albums
If
if we finish the songs.
if I can beat them into submission, yes.
So do you need to get? You mentioned desk. You sit down and write. Is that where you do your writing, or is it anywhere?
Anywhere
Okay.
really.
I think wherever the inspiration comes, and you just make sure you get it down on.
Yeah, the voice memo app on the phone gets a workout.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes if you get it while you're driving, you pull over into a parking lot somewhere and
Yeah, good
type
thinking.
something in or read it into the voice memo.
Thank goodness. I mean, years ago, we didn't have the phones. You could just send yourself a text or a message and record it. Again, paper and pencil all the time. But I wonder, it's just when you think about that, just imagine all the songs lost because people didn't just jot things down or record it real quick, and that's kind of sad actually when you think about how many songs are lost.
Yeah, there are theories that the songs and the ideas, the artwork, it's all out there. All we do is capture it and
Yeah.
channel it.
That makes sense.
I believe there's some truth to that. And I try really hard to stop and capture an idea, even if it's late at night and I've fallen asleep or I'm falling asleep. I'll stop and I'll pick up my phone and squint and type in a couple of keywords so that I'll remember what I was thinking the night before.
Yeah, and you don't wake the wife up. It's like, writing again.
Try not.
Turn the light off. All right, time for here, let me turn it. The PAM exam. There we go. I used to have, when the other show I had, the PAM exam, I had the same 5 questions, and I thought, and someone said to me once, I said, time for the PAM exam, and he said, yep, I went online and watched some of your past interviews, so I'm ready. So he knew all the answers, like, okay, well, now you have no idea what's in here, and
I
every
have
week
not
it can be
studied.
something different. So.
I tried to cheat, but I couldn't get the material.
No, I like spontaneous answers. That's more fun. Okay, Mark Jewett, what is your favorite non-music pastime?
Gosh, I don't know if it's a pastime. I love spending time with dogs,
Okay,
but
dog lover. Okay,
yeah, if I could drink coffee with my dogs and watch a hockey game, that would be the triple crown trifecta.
so you have dogs, I would imagine.
Yes, we had 6 of them in the
6?
house
Oh
recently.
my gosh!
2 were ours, 4 were visiting.
Oh.
So,
So you dog sit too, then?
yeah, occasionally.
What are your dogs' names? Musical names?
Max and Toby,
Oh.
kind of fashioned after Toby Mac.
Okay.
My daughter Lindsay had some strong ideas about their names when we adopted them.
All right. Most interesting place you ever visited?
Most interesting place. The most fascinating place I've ever visited was Grand Canyon. It's talk about things that are big and overwhelming
Oh,
and
yeah.
unstoppable. There are no words.
Did that inspire you for some music when you were there?
No, I was 14. I was 14.
Oh. So at that point, you didn't even, music was not on the radar.
The first time, well, I was a trombone player in
But not
junior high
music
at the time.
writing and
No.
stuff. Yeah.
No, I probably jotted down some ideas in a notepad at that age,
There
but
you go. I visited the
song.
Grand Canyon, went on a road trip with my sister. We didn't really have a destination, and of course, we went through the Grand Canyon, and we were there at in the evening, and just the sun coming over and changing the colors and everything. I would imagine as a writer just sitting there watching the sunset in the canyon, because it changed the way the everything looked. The colors were so deep, and just the creative flows would the creative
and it changes with the time of the day. It
Yes.
has a different personality depending on the angle of the sun
Yes.
and the season. But
It was summer and the sun was coming down. We watched the whole sunset, and just it was nothing like I've ever seen. So I would imagine as a writer sitting there, you could really get inspired. And there's so many spots that you could find a new spot each time, and just
if you can get away from the tourists now, I think you could probably. But
yeah, actually I don't know why it was not crowded at all. So there were plenty of places to sit out.
timing is everything.
There you go. Oops, All right. If you could be on the cover of a magazine, which one would it be and why?
Well, how about American Songwriter?
There you go.
Yep. I think that
You
would
knew
be-
you had to say that one.
I would say thank you, American Songwriter magazine.
Do they have different musicians on the top, or just
Yes.
songwriters?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a feature writer every month.
Okay. Well, that's a cool goal. There you go. Another thing to go for, and think big, be on the cover. What you need to do is get one of those covers and kind of do some photoshopping and put your picture on that, and you stick it on your mirror or on a wall over your desk, and you visualize that every day and send that out into the universe. There you go.
I think I can do that. I've got some photo editing
You got to do
tools.
stuff like that. I'm a big component, or I think visioning things daily
Oh, yeah.
is helpful. So there
Absolutely.
you go. That's
a vision board.
Okay, I'm going to pull a Jill here. That's what you need to do this week.
I know for a fact that Jill has a vision board.
Oh yes, I do too. I think it has really helped a lot. Okay, finish the sentence. I wish I could blank. It's got a blank face.
Reach my potential. I
Okay,
think if I'm going to go big.
go big. Yes, go.
I was
big.
going to say retire, but that's just
No, no,
that's just a tactic. From,
reach your
will reach my
potential.
potential.
And what in your mind? What does that potential look like? I'm assuming it's for the music, or is there?
yes.
Okay, I shouldn't assume, but
I want to write songs that people want to hear, and people are willing to come out and listen to them. I love working with other musicians. There are a lot of musicians on this CD as well as the earlier EP, and I do that for two reasons. I love the work they do. Their style fits the material that we've paired up with, and I just learn so much from them. There's something to be learned from everybody. So
yeah. Well, when you say potential, I mean, I would think you have in your mind what that could be, and you have a vision for it, right? Yes.
yes, I haven't translated it into a lot of tangible, measurable things yet. but,
This is all recorded. It's all out
it's
there
all
now.
going to come back to haunt me. Well, I would certainly like to release another CD in a reasonable amount of time. Reasonable is probably a couple of years out.
That long? You've
I
got
think
30
so.
songs almost ready to go. Or started, I should say.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to pressure you.
I may approach the next one differently. This
Okay.
this most recent one, Tending the Fire, was done over a period of about 18 months, partly due to availability of key players.
Right, yeah.
We just couldn't get together
Everyone's
for a
got
few months.
their own projects, and what I found in this city, this area, is everybody shares with other musicians, and backing vocals or playing on it or helping with song. I mean, it's just the first time I started experiencing that with the musicians around here, it kind of blew me away. It's like, wow, everybody knows everybody and helps each other. It's really cool. I love the fact that happens around in this area.
Yeah, these people are all willing to share and teach, and they're spread pretty thin. So it's it's great when they can find time to help you out with a
Yeah.
project like that.
Okay. Well, I mean, I imagine you've got people in mind and everything, so that you'd like to work with. All right, we need to go to another song here.
Another song. Okay.
I'll close out the questions for you. We are talking with Mark Jewett. Today's Behind the Mic.
It's a song about it's a tragic song,
Oh,
but something everybody's probably experienced at some point in life. Do you want the title or later?
go ahead. Give me the title.
It's the Broken Favorite Coffee Mug Blues. Well, everybody's got one, you know they do. And if you're lucky, you might have two. It don't matter what it looks like, it's the one you like the most. It's the perfect companion to your morning eggs and toast. It might be a gift from a friend or your spouse. Might be the ugliest mug in a house, but once it was new and fully intact, till someone knocked it over and now the handle is cracked. Now I got the blues, the broken favorite coffee mug blues. Yeah, I got the blues, the broken favorite coffee mug blues. I might have 11 others, but that's the only one I use. Well, it can happen so easy, there's a knock at the door. You turn around too fast and it crashes to the floor. Now it's smashed to smithereens, completely shattered. I wouldn't care about the others, that was the only one that mattered. Now I've got the blues, the broken favorite coffee mug blues. Yeah, I've got the blues, the broken favorite coffee mug blues. I might have 11 others, but that's the only one I use. Well, accidents happen, there's no doubt, but a chip on the lip ain't no reason to pout. Just handle this one with care, and please don't break it. 'Cause without my favorite coffee mug, I don't know if I can make it. 'Cause that would give me the blues, the broken favorite coffee mug blues. And I don't want the blues, the broken favorite coffee mug blues. I might have 11 others, but that's the only one I use. No, I don't want the blues, the broken favorite coffee mug blues. I do not want those blues, the broken favorite coffee mug blues. I might have 11 others, but that's the only one I use. I might have 11 others, but that's the only one I use. I might have 11 others, but that's the only one. The only one. Yeah, that's the only one I use.
Mark Jewett. All right, so there was a favorite mug that you wrote this about?
I'm sure I've had mugs in it too in the past, but this was a friend who broke a mug and posted the tragedy on Facebook. So D. Carpenter, if you're out there, your coffee mug paid the price for a cause.
Got a good song out of it. That's a good song. Yeah, there was a couple on here that I remember that have a kind of a humorous tone to them. I can't remember which one the other one was.
Oh, the Love Refrigerator.
Yes,
kind
the
of
Love
is
Refrigerator. Yeah, that was a good one too. I like that one. So I just want you to. We got a few minutes left here. I want to just make sure that you're an inspiration. A lot of people are thinking, "Gosh, I'm too old for this," or, yeah, I'm not a good songwriter. Or I could never do this late in life. And then, what would you say to someone that has that attitude?
I would say you don't know that. You don't know that you're too old for this. It seems cliche at times when someone says it's never too late to try.
Yeah.
But it's not. I think the process of learning and growing and advancing is almost as much fun as achieving. I mean, I enjoy it. And I didn't finish my first song till I was 52 years old. And there's a lot of people that are hanging it up at 52 years old.
Yeah.
So it's something, music is something you can do for life in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. So don't give up.
And then you threw out a few things there. You look for help. You're taking a course to help you. You went to songwriting, I don't know, call them conferences or whatever, workshops, to help you in your craft. There's all kinds of those around. You have the American magazine, songwriting magazine, so there's trades out there to help you. So you've searched out ways to help you in this business.
Absolutely. And networking, whether it's informally or formally, is really important. And I think the hardest threshold to cross is that first one where you share things that you've created in your mind and your soul. There's a lot of apprehension, a lot of anxious moments there.
Oh, well, yeah.
But once you do it, you look back and go, oh, that really wasn't that bad. If you're with the right people that are supportive and they can help you along that line, it's ideal. So seek out an environment where you can trust your friends in that circle.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And do you go watch these people perform, I would think, and learn from them? Or
That's
no?
my greatest inspiration. I get more good songwriting ideas immediately following attending someone else's show. And
Maybe like a word in their song or a riff or something, and that all of a sudden something comes to mind?
Or a vibe in their song that spurs an idea. I guess the saying goes, good artists borrow, great artists steal. But when you steal it, it's your obligation to make it your own and create more out of whatever it is you just stole. And I blatantly, when I wrote Love Refrigerator, I deliberately sat down to write a song like I thought John Hyatt would write. And I listened to some things he did with Little Village. I think the one song that inspired it's She Runs Hot is on the Little Village CD. So I thought about it for a while, and I had this line floating around in my head. Well, yeah, that's the one. This is what we're going to make out of it.
And it all boils down to, so much of the music today, and for years and years, it all came from, like the hub of it, the nucleus, you can go back to, the blues, or even before that, there was something there that, sparked a new genre of music, and, it's all connected.
Absolutely. It's quite a melting pot, and there's such variety now. Like, I don't know how to categorize my music. Maybe Americana, but some of it is popish, some of it's bluesy, and unfortunately, it matters when it comes to marketing, because what everyone wants to know is what is it?
Right.
How do I tell people about you? So
I would classify you just as a singer-songwriter.
That's kind of where I've fallen.
That's where I would put you, but that's just me. I may not have categorized everybody the right way, but and I usually have people do 3 songs, but we've been talking about the Love Refrigerator. I don't know if you want to do that one or not, just because I kind of was talking about it. I don't know are you up for that or no?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I can
To
do
put
that.
you on the spot here, and we have just a couple minutes, so I thought, why not?
Okay.
If you don't
We'll
mind.
try to do that.
Okay. It's room for. I keep, daughter's over here, and I keep looking at her. They're probably wondering why I keep looking off the camera. Brought his daughter in. I did.
It might be a
threw
little sparse, but
That's fine.
that's okay. Oh, my baby turns romance into a love buffet. And if I had the appetite, I'd fill up every day. 'Cause there's a little bit of every kind of sumptuous delight. And it's so good that I don't want to waste a single bite. So let's have a little now and save some for later in our leftover love refrigerator. Leftover love, leftover love refrigerator. Leftover love, leftover love refrigerator. You know you're gonna want some later. Meat and mashed potatoes, fancy creme brulee. She mixes up the menu, it's different every day. But she always adds a little of her special secret sauce. All she has to do is ring the bell and she's the boss. And then we'll have a little now, save some for later in our leftover love refrigerator. Leftover love, leftover love refrigerator. Leftover love, leftover love refrigerator. Just in case you want some later. Well, sometimes I get a craving for something late at night, and what I see looks good to me by refrigerator light. There's a fitting feast for any beast right there on the shelf. She said, if you're hungry, babe, why don't you help yourself? So I said, honey, don't you think these servings are excessive? She smiled and said, I will admit, my portions are impressive. And maybe there's more here than we can fit on your plate. What a shame if we don't finish by the expiration date. So let's have a little now and save some for later in our leftover love refrigerator. Leftover love, leftover love refrigerator. Leftover love, leftover love refrigerator. You know you're gonna want some later.
Thank you very much. Mark Jewett with us. And real quick, your website, or so they can find you, your music, and where you're going to be?
It's markjewett.com.
Jewett. So easy to find. And thanks for coming in and playing for us today. We do appreciate
Thanks.
it.
This is fun, Pam.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, and an inspiration. It's never too late, people. All
Never
right.
too late.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Behind the Mic. I'm Pam Rossi. Have a great week.